Oh.
It's down. Like the live stream's down. Okay. Hey Dave, the live stream is down. Is there any way you can go check on that to make sure it gets fixed?
Dude, I saw in the chat someone's the mom was like, hey, say something positive about Mike. I'm like, I thought we just started off saying he had a great outing.
Now batting number 23, Basil Williams.
I'm like, we literally just said he was excellent, didn't give up a hit. I don't know what else.
They said say something
Mike's mom on the thing said say something positive about Mike. I'm like, didn't we say? I was like, I'm pretty sure we just said.
You just placed a strikeout. You just
All right, so here we go. Sorry for the technical difficulties, Chaz. Take it away.
Yeah, sorry for the. Ground ball over to third. Rosas is there. Griggs. The throw to first is not in time. But the runner at second is out, so runners on the corners with 2 outs.
So the mission's somewhat accomplished. He got something on the ground. It was just softly hit, and that's not his fault. That's actually credit to Mike Ashley. Keep on doing that. Stay around the zone. Mix up your pitches. It's been working well for him so far.
So that brings up Ronnie Belton. Ashley still not out of this hole. Best scoring opportunity of the ball game now is presented to the Barons with runners on the corners and 2 outs. Jalen Williams, the runner on third. Alex Rodriguez, the man on first. Breaking ball in the inside corner. Just inside 1-0.
A pitch that looked like it just slipped out of the hands of Mike Ashley. Did not get the grip that he was looking for.
Mike Ashley, good athlete out there. 6 foot, 218 pounds. Dual sport athlete. Plays baseball and basketball. That fastball runs outside 2-0.
I expect to see a fastball here. Hopefully on the outside corner. You don't just want to go ahead and lay it in there down the middle.
Ronnie Belton struggling to start the year, hitting 160. Fastball inside, 3-0.
And if you're Ashley, you're down on the count, 3 balls and no strikes. You don't want to walk the guy, but if it happens, it's not the worst outcome in the world. Then you could just face the 9-hole hitter.
Chase Call, the catcher, is the man on deck. Here's the 3-0 pitch. Runs high, so Mike Ashley walks the bases loaded now. And that brings up Chase Call. Chase Call, 167 hitter this season for the Barons.
Now batting number 17, Chase Call.
And you know, Chaz, with those conversations I've had with Ashley on the mound, he's a very composed player. He knows how to gather his emotions and use that adrenaline towards his advantage. So even though he's in a tough situation here, I know mentally he's dialed in.
Chase Call, a 2021 grad, committed to UC Irvine, and the first pitch to him is high for ball 1.
And you like to see that by Charlie Taylor there. Didn't do much, but he came to his feet, nodded his head towards Mike Ashley, and told him, hey, you've got this. Good call also by the pitching coach to head out to the mound and have a conversation with his young right-hander, as I mentioned. He looks like he's in trouble, but no runs have been put on the board yet.
So, if you're Coach Randy Barber, what do you think he's trying to get him, to throw here? Are we thinking it's probably more something down and away, or just get it over the plate, trying to do some soft contact, get out of the inning without surrendering a run?
I feel like you're a bit more aggressive in your approach just because the bases are loaded, so you might resort to your fastball and hope that you can locate it well inside of the zone, but his breaking ball as well. If Ashley feels comfortable throwing that pitch in this situation, I think it'll work wonders for him.
So now that means the base is loaded. It's 2 outs facing Chase Call. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Inside, 2-0. Chase Call has 1 RBI on the season. 3 hits in his 18 at-bats. One of the younger guys on the roster for the Barons, and he's now looking at a 3-0 count.
I don't like the body language here by Mike Ashley. You can tell that he was frustrated with the last pitch. He needs to keep his composure here. Even if you walk in a run, it's not the end of the world. So a lot of game ahead of you. It's in your hands.
Here's the 3-0. Fastball over the heart of the plate, 3-1.
Really good-looking pitch there by Ashley. Inside fastball, delivered a quality pitch when you're down in the hole at 3 balls and no strikes with the bases loaded.
3 balls, as you said, 1 strike, 2 outs. So Ashley a couple pitches away from getting out of this inning. Although that pitch is just low, so the Barons are on the board, 1-0.
Tough outcome there, but you've got to give credit to Mike Ashley. Down in the count, 3 balls and no strikes. Delivered 2 quality back-to-back pitches. This last one seemed to be inside of the zone, but hey, the home plate umpire gave the benefit of the doubt to the hitter.
So that brings up Jordan Williams, the leadoff man. He singled in his first at-bat. That led off the ball game. First pitch to Jordan. Called the ball. 1-0.
And it's getting pretty tough out there, Chaz. That looked to be a strike on the outside corner. And unfortunately, it seems to go that way. When you have the inability to throw strikes for a brief while, the home plate umpire refuses to give you those close calls.
That pitch was nowhere near the strike zone, 2-0. And if you're Mike Ashley and you're facing a condensed strike zone, do you just try and maybe throw more breaking balls over the heart of the plate to force some swing and misses, or do you try and stick and continue to try and establish your fastball?
Well, at this point in the game with the bases loaded, down in the count 2-0, he has to throw a fastball. He has to go ahead and just hit the strike zone any way he can.
Here's the 2-0 pitch to Williams. High and outside, 3-0.
And you also have to give credit to these hitters. I mean, the Barons have put together some really quality at-bats. Ashley has not been wild. He's been throwing around the zone, perhaps just a little bit off the plate.
Bit of a different approach this inning. They started with an aggressive approach. Back in the first, much more cautious here. As that's another walk for Mike Ashley, 2-0 Barons. That brings up Nicholas Marlborough. And Marlborough grounded into a 5-4-3 double play back in the first inning.
I think by the looks of it, Chaz, Ashley is much more comfortable on the mound facing a right-handed hitter than a lefty. I feel like he's made more quality pitches when the hitters are standing from the right side.
Here's the first pitch to Marlborough. Breaking ball in the inside corner, 0-1. And that was a good-looking curveball there.
Yeah, speaking of quality pitches, there it is. And Ashley wants to remember, you've got a Riptide offense behind you. They've put together some really outstanding numbers throughout the last few games.
Here's the 0-1 pitch. Breaking ball just outside, 1-1.
That's another one of those really good-looking pitches. I mean, credit to Marlborough at the plate to lay off a close pitch.
Marlborough doesn't strike out a ton. Only struck out 7 times in his 25 at-bats. So that pitch is low, 2-1.
Yeah. Another good pitch there, I'm telling you, man. These Barons hitters are not making it easier for Mike Ashley on the mound. Laying off of those close pitches.
Ashley steps off the mound for a quick second. Batter's back in the batter's box. 2-1 count. 2 outs, bases loaded. Fouled off behind the plate, 2-2. So now Mike Ashley with a chance to get out of this inning. Only surrendering 2 runs. It's definitely a lead that the Riptide can't come back from. We saw them come back from 5 runs in the bottom of the 9th a couple of nights ago.
And 7 runs total.
Here's the 2-2. That pitch is just outside, 3-2.
Another close pitch around the zone. That was a good frame job as well by Charlie Taylor.
Nice sized crowd here tonight at the stadium. You can hear chairs all around the stadium. Here's the 3-2. Outside, so that's another walk. Oh, the ball got behind Taylor. 1 run will score. A 2nd run will score. So the ball game is now 4-0. That's just a heads-up play there from Chase Call, the catcher.
Yeah, heads-up play for sure. You saw Charlie Taylor walking to the ball, and Mike Ashley also did not cover the plate in time.
Do you think that's just a result of frustration out there, just not thinking about the fact that those guys can advance even another base if they're not paying attention?
Without a doubt, it's been a tough outing so far for Ashley, but like I said, he's been around the strike zone. He's gotten a few pitches that perhaps should have been called his way. So when he's battling not only a tight strike zone, but quality at-bats from the Academy Barons, these kind of mental mistakes go ahead and come into fruition.
First pitch to Gonzalez was fouled off down the third baseline. Still runners on the corners for the Barons, so Ashley not out of the jam yet. That pitch is fouled off once again, 0-2.
I like the fact that Mike Ashley continues to come straight after these hitters. Still putting together some quality pitches, even 4-0. It's still early on in the ballgame. You've got a very talented offense behind you.
That pitch is fouled off once again. The count will remain 0-2. And if you're Mike Ashley here, are you trying to just throw strikes right now, given that he struggled to do so? Or maybe you trying to throw something just outside the zone to force a swing and miss?
I've seen Ashley utilize that high fastball for a swing and a miss, so perhaps go to that here. You have some room to play with.
Breaking ball, line drive, left field, foul.
Hard hit, Bob, but nothing doing. You just got to shrug that one away.
So now that makes it 4 straight foul balls from Alec Gonzalez. He grounded out back to the mound in his first at-bat back in the first. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Called strike 3 on the outside corner. So Mike Ashley strikes out Alec Gonzalez to end the second. The Barons jump out to a 4-0 lead. We go to the bottom of the second. So that brings up T.C. Simmons leading off the bottom of the second inning for the Riptide. They're now behind 4-0.
We do see a right-hander getting loose and warm with the bullpen for the Riptide, so that might be the evening for Mike Ashley. And it's kind of unfortunate just because I felt like Ashley still has a lot left in the tank.
Called strike on the inside corner, 2-1.
Like I said, Chaz, there's at times where you just have to give credit to the opposing team. Ashley was making some really quality pitches around the strike zone. The Barons were just laying off of them.
T.C. Simmons swings and misses 2-2. So that brings up the point of why would you try and force him out of the game early if you know your bullpen is stretched?
That's true. And only Mitch LaVere knows. I mean, he knows the game of baseball as well as anyone. He's been around the game for a strong while, and he also knows his players better than we do. Based on what I saw on the mound, it looked like Ashley still has some quality innings to deliver, but maybe he wants to put an end to the trouble before giving it an opportunity to unravel even further. And also, Chaz, as we talked about earlier,
2-2 count to Simmons, swung on and missed, strike 3. So Chaz Martinez off to a hot start. That is his third strikeout of the ball game.
Yeah, as I was saying, as we spoke about earlier, the Orange County Riptide are running out of baseball games. They want to go ahead and secure a playoff spot, so they have to win every single game. That might go into the decision that Mitch LaVere just took.
Servin swings and misses. Spencer Servin, the designated hitter for the Riptide here today. That pitch catches the inside corner, 0-2. We just talked about Spencer Servin being the double machine. 5 doubles in his 8 at-bats this season for the Riptide. Or his 8 hits, excuse me.
Yeah, Servin's been another quality bat in the middle of the lineup for the Orange County Riptide.
High fly ball towards left field. Left fielder getting chased, and that thing gets down, and Servin rounding first base, and he's got himself another double. So that's his 6th double of the season. The second hit of the ball game for the Riptide.
And isn't it awesome, Chaz, to hear the roar of the Orange County Riptide faithful? Nice piece of hitting there by Servin. Took an inside fastball, got a little bit underneath it, but fortunately for him, it just stayed in the air long enough and prevented the left fielder from making the play.
got behind the left fielder for the Barons, Jordan Williams. That brings up a guy that's been swinging the bat really well, Tank Espalin.
Yeah, Tank Espalin has been a very promising bat for the Orange County Riptide. He's strung together some really, really solid contact. Has an opportunity to draw in that first run of the ball game for Orange County here.
So that pitch is just outside, 1-0.
So early on, I mean, that pitch did look to be a strike. So that's
A little bit
something
of an
that
inconsistency, to say the least, from the umpires.
I would actually argue that it's been consistent. He just has a pretty tight strike zone.
That pitch is inside, 2-0. So for Tank Espalin, as we mentioned before, swinging the bat really well, hitting .355 this summer. Has an on-base percentage of almost 50%, hovering around 49%. That's a fastball on the outside corner called strike, 2-1.
Espalin, you're still in a hitter's count here. I don't think that this left-hander wants to continue falling behind in the count, so perhaps this can be a pitch that you can handle.
Here's the 2-1 pitch. Low for 3-1.
With the kind of success that Espalin has had at the plate, 3-1, we have the green light to go ahead and swing on a pitch inside of your wheelhouse.
Spencer Servant, the man on second base, doubled in the last at-bat. 1 out. Bottom of the second inning, the Riptide trail by 4. Espalin fouls that pitch off, 3-2.
Full count pitch here for Espalin, and hey, Martinez has made some really quality pitches on the mound. So if you're Espalin, you want to go ahead and really just sharpen up that vision and make sure that you swing at a pitch that's anywhere near the strike zone.
Lefty on lefty matchup, full count. Chopper towards third. Gonzalez is there to get Tank Espalin, but Servant is able to advance over to third base. So this is a big RBI opportunity for Charlie Taylor.
Charlie Taylor has been a good bat as well in the lineup for the Orange County Riptide. And you've seen, and you've heard me better said, allude to that consistently, but it's because it's true, Chaz. I mean, this offense has put together some really good numbers on the board. So this 4-run deficit can be wiped away very quickly.
Charlie Taylor, as you mentioned before, very hot start here. 5 hits in his 11 at-bats this summer for the Riptide. Also driven in 2 runs. Base hit, hard hit ball right towards the mound. And the leg of Chaz Martinez denies an RBI single for Charlie Taylor. The score remains 4-0. Josiah Castillo coming in relief of Mike Ashley out on the mound. And his 6.2 innings of work, struck out 10 batters, posted a 5.40 ERA. First pitch to Darian McDowell is a called strike on the outside corner, 0-1.
And what a way to put an end to the bottom half of the second inning. Charlie Taylor did everything within his ability to drive that ball up the middle. It's just that the leg of the pitcher was standing in the way. And also
back-to-back called strikes, 0-2. Go ahead.
And also credit to Martinez for quickly recovering and flipping the ball over towards first base.
Here's the 0-2. Line drive towards right, so that'll be a base hit for Darian McDowell. That's his first hit of the ball game and the second hit for the Barons.
Really good piece of hitting there by Darren McDowell. He was down on the count at 0-2 delivered a quality breaking ball, and followed through with it completely towards the right side.
That brings up the first baseman, Jalen Williams. He walked in his first at-bat back in the second inning. Breaking ball outside, 1-0.
We've seen a few ground balls in pivotal situations, so here's another time where the Orange County Riptide can use one.
Here's the 1-0. Chopper down the third baseline, foul, 1-1.
And so far, I like what we're seeing here by Josiah Castillo. He's mixing up his pitches quite well, and he's staying around the strike zone.
The last time we saw Josiah Castillo was back on July 3rd against the Barons. He pitched 1 inning, struck out 3. Here's the 1-1. Breaking ball high, 2-1.
If you're Castillo, you do not want to forget about the runner aboard at first base. We saw Ashley deliver some quality pickoff movements. Perhaps he wants to do the same.
Base hit, center field, right back up the middle, so back-to-back hits to start the third inning for the Barons.
Hey, the Academy Barons are doing a nice job at the plate today. They're working the counts, and they're scoring up these baseballs quite nicely.
That brings up the center fielder, Basil Williams. He also walked back in the second inning. This is a good opportunity for the Nichols State man to try and extend the lead for the Barons. He hit 182 this past season. Also drove in 17 runs. Curveball low, 1-0.
Well-located pitch at the knees. Castillo unable to get the call there. Good for him to keep the ball low. He's looking to induce yet another ground ball.
Grounder up the middle. Espalin is there and flips it over to second for 1. So 1 down with runners on the corners now. And that's the second time we've seen that double play combo. We just haven't seen him be able to make that flip quick enough.
Yeah, and that's credit to the pitcher, you know. He induced softly hit contact, but at times when you have a runner on board at first base, you kind of wish that the ground ball was hit a little bit harder to give your infielder some time to flip too. But Castillo, another one on the ground, and you're out of the inning.
Curveball inside, 1-0. This past season for Pepperdine in his 2 appearances, pitched 1 full inning, 1 strikeout, didn't give up a run. Here's the 1-0. Inside, 2-0. Castillo facing the shortstop, Alex Rodriguez. Ronnie Belton is the man on deck. Here's the 2-0. Inside, 3-0.
And Castillo continues to stay low in the zone. He's looking to get that ground ball for sure. Alex Rodriguez, though, worked out a really good count his last time at bat.
That's a 4-pitch walk to Alex Rodriguez. And that brings up the right fielder, Ronnie Belton.
I don't know about that one, Chaz. That was a close pitch as well for Castillo on the mound.
And the narrative continues of the tight strike zone, especially, it seems like to the umpire's right side, seems to be very, very narrow.
Yeah, and when you combine that with good takes at the plate from the Academy Barons, it's tough to come out victorious as a pitcher on the mound.
Bases loaded with 1 out. That fastball is outside, 1-0.
And I think this is something that's being, just preached to the Academy Barons in the dugout by their head coach. Hey, they're falling behind in the zone. Let them do so.
Swing and a miss, 1-1. That was a good-looking fastball on the outside corner.
Yeah, good fastball on the outside corner for sure. Love the fact that Josiah Castillo is still playing with those outside edges despite falling behind in the zone a few times.
Here's the 1-1. Breaking ball outside. Good block there from Charlie Taylor behind the plate, excuse me. Here's the 2-1. High looked like he lost a little bit of control on that breaking ball.
So similar to what happened during the top half of the second inning, 3-1 count with the bases loaded. Castillo knows that he has to throw something down the heart of the play because the edges are unpredictable.
Fastball high. And that'll walk Ronnie Belton. Darian McDowell will score. The Barons now up 5-0. So walks continue to be an issue for the Riptide. And now they're behind 5-0. So Jonathan, is this something that the Riptide really need to take advantage of with that tiny strike zone that we're seeing out there? That's a nice fastball on the inside corner, 0-1.
Yeah, I mean, they have to go ahead and try to work it towards their advantage of well. Of course, Chaz Martinez on the mound has done an outstanding job for the Barons, so it's tough to string
Fly
together
ball,
some hits on him.
Foul. 0-2, go ahead.
Yeah, he's been a tough pitcher to hit off of. So if you're the Riptide, you just want to make him work, make him try to paint those outside edges, and use that tight strike zone against the starting pitcher for the opposing team.
0-2 count. Josiah Castillo could really use the strikeout right now. Foul tip. Bat will remain. Chase Call doing a good job to keep himself alive.
Just got a piece at the plate to stay alive there. Josiah Castillo delivers a really good breaking ball, so hey, go ahead and throw that in the dirt. We saw that Charlie Taylor can block.
Breaking ball just inside 1-2.
I'm sure that one was meant to go lower than where it landed there. Perhaps a high fastball now.
Grounder up the middle. Espalin is there. Tough hop. Forced to keep it in his glove. So another run will score. 6-0 now. And that one was just unlucky for Tank Espalin.
Yeah, that was a really good play by Tank. I mean, that ball took a bad hop, and he stayed with it through and through. I thought he had the opportunity to flip and throw towards second base, but that slight moment of hesitation there prevented him from doing so.
Top of the lineup now. Jordan Williams. Sigling his first at-bat. Walked in his second. Fly ball. Foul.
And, the Orange County Riptide have just been somewhat unlucky today. I mean, I think the pitchers have done a nice job of keeping the ball close to the strike zone, inducing weak contact.
That's a line drive towards center. Booker is there. And the strong arm from Booker keeps the runner at third, Alex Rodriguez, from tagging. So now there's 2 down. 2 outs for Nicholas Marlborough.
Now batting number 28, Nicholas Marlborough.
Here's the first pitch to Marlborough. Inside 1-0.
6 runs now on the scoreboard for the Barons. And Chaz, we've seen 7 runs be wiped away. Let's see if the Riptide have some magic in them tonight.
That's a nice fastball on the outside corner, 1-1. And we've seen them have big innings, but this is still very early in the ballgame. They're going to be able to chip away, maybe get 1 here, 2 there, 3 there, and just like that, you're back in the ballgame.
Yeah, at the very least, if you're the Orange County Riptide, you want to make that starting
Chopper
pitcher.
up the middle. Here's Tank Espalin. Unable to glove that one, so that's probably going to go as an error against Tank. And the big inning for the Barons continues. Their lead is now 7.
Now batting number 16, Alec Gonzalez.
That was another tough play there for Tank Espalin and Chaz. That bad luck continues for the Riptide. Softly hit balls, but hey, those balls have had eyes, and they've been moving around in a funky manner.
That's a tough foul ball against Alec Gonzalez, but the count is 0-1 nonetheless, and there's nothing really he can do about that one. He's just trying to get out of the way and hit his bat.
Yeah, it's tough. 7-0. You want to put an end to the bleeding sooner than later.
Ground ball. Here's Tank Espalin. Gloves that one, flips it over to third, and the umpire calls him safe. I don't know about that one. That one seemed like he was clearly out, but another run will score. The lead is now 8 for the Barons. And the bad luck just continues for the Riptide.
And that one's tough there. I thought that the third baseman for the Orange County Riptide applied the tag to the runner as opposed to, keeping his foot on the bag. But by the looks of not having the manager, Mitch LaVere, come out to argue the call, it looks like the second baseman or the second base umpire made the right decision.
Here's the 0-2. Breaking ball just outside. Darian McDowell doing a good job to stay off of it.
And only 5 hits for the Academy Barons so far.
Called strike 3 to end the inning. The Barons tack on 4 more to their lead. They lead 8-0 as we go to the bottom of the third. So the Riptide are going to need a big comeback in this one. They trail by 8 runs to nothing here in the bottom of the third. Tyler Griggs from Central Arizona Community College, leading things off here for the Riptide, called for a strike against him.
And if you're Orange County, you look at that 8-run deficit, and it's a large one, of course, but you are only in the bottom half of the third inning.
Breaking ball just outside.
You have to remember that you do not need to get all of those 8 runs right here. Add a couple this inning, add a few next inning, and just kind of build like that.
Blooper towards right. Will get down, so Tyler Griggs aboard with a leadoff single, and that's the start that they were looking for.
Yeah, that's exactly what the Orange County Riptide need to do. They need to wait for their pitch and deliver a good quality swing. Now we have the top of the lineup, which can surely do some damage against this opponent.
Kyle Booker struck out looking back in the first inning. Kyle Booker, the talented center fielder from Tennessee. He hit .310 this past season for the Volunteers. First pitch is high and outside, 1-0. This has been a pretty good start now for the pitcher on the mound for the Barons, Chaz Martinez. 3 strikeouts, surrendered 3 hits, but most importantly, no runs.
Yeah, Chaz Martinez has done an outstanding job on the mound, and you can only imagine what his confidence is like right now having an 8-run cushion to play with.
Kyle Booker with a line drive into right field. That'll be a base hit. So back-to-back base hits to start the third for the Riptide. That is exactly what they need to get back in this ball game.
And we've seen some pretty hard hit balls from these Orange County Riptide bats. And Chaz, now Orange County's in the driver's seat to do some damage this half inning. Look at who we have at the plate. Krisick, and then we have Jack Thomas Wold on deck.
Austin Krisick now up. The left fielder singled in his first at-bat. He singled away into the gap, pretty much in the same spot we just saw Kyle Booker hit back in the the first inning.
And if you're Krisick here, you do not want to get caught up in doing too much. You want to go ahead and deliver the quality at-bat that you did during the bottom half of the first inning. Just put the bat to the baseball, took it the opposite way, found some outfield grass.
Krisick, line drive right field. That gets down. Tyler Griggs rounding third. Kyle Booker quickly behind him. Booker forced to stay at second, but the Riptide are on the board. RBI double for Austin Krisick, and that is back-to-back hits for him, both going to the opposite side of the field.
Austin Krisick did just what I had asked for. I mean, that is an outstanding at-bat. Solid contact, took it the opposite way, puts him and his teammate in scoring position, and opens up the scoring for the Orange County Riptide. Really, really good at-bat.
And that brings up the left-handed power-hitting first baseman, Jack Thomas Wold. He's got 12 RBI for the Riptide this summer. This is definitely the guy they want at the plate as that fastball catches the outside corner. 0-1. That was a good-looking pitch there for Martinez.
Yeah, and if you're Jack Thomas Wold, you want to make sure to at least score one of these 2 runs standing on base. If the Riptide are able to catch him both runners in scoring position, that puts us at a 5-run deficit, almost halfway to the margin that we are looking to finalize.
Wold drove in 43 runs this past season for UNLV. He struck out swinging back in the first inning. Still no outs, 2 runners in scoring position for for Jack Thomas Wold. Kyle Booker, the man on third. Austin Krisick, the man on second. Breaking ball outside, 1-0.
Jack Thomas Wold told us that he loves to hit those hanging curveballs when facing a left-handed pitcher. If he gets one here, he can handle it very well.
Here's the 1-1 just outside, 2-1. Good eye there from Wold.
Yeah, good eye there from Wold, and that was also a good pitch by Martinez, and that's what I talked about earlier. Hey, you want to use this strike zone to your advantage if you're a hitter. The Riptide still trail by 7, but if they could get a couple here,
That will be absolutely huge for their chance at a comeback. Martinez is going to call for a mound visit. Everything got started this half inning for the Riptide with a leadoff single from Tyler Griggs. Kyle Booker went right after that with a single. And then Osta Krisick with his RBI double.
Yeah, and more importantly, all three of those base hits were solid contact.
Two-one count, no outs. Line drive into left. That ball drops for Wold, so he's got himself an RBI single. The Riptide cut the lead to 6. 4 straight hits now for the Riptide here in the bottom of the third.
Hey, Jack Thomas Wold took that one the opposite way, just made sure to get the barrel of the bat to the ball, and it works out well for the Orange County Riptide. Now they have runners on the corners, and Chaz, all of a sudden, this deficit looks much more manageable.
These Riptide hitters seem to be getting a much better idea of what Chaz Martinez is throwing them out there on the mound. They're now up to 6 hits total. However, they do trail by 6 runs, but this is a good opportunity for them to get right back in this game with runners on the corners and no outs. Swing and a miss from Rosas to start his at-bat. Here's the 0-1 to Rosas. And Martinez is now ahead 0-2. The umpire said Rosas went on that. Seems like there's a bit of confusion on that call between the umpires, but the count is 0-2 nonetheless.
We've seen that breaking ball quite often from Martinez on the mound, so perhaps he throws something in the dirt.
He does go with something in the dirt, but Rosas is good to lay off of it, 1-2.
And of course, Shas, we've seen it so many times already this season, scoring a run from third base on a wild pitch. Krisick needs to be ready to go if the opportunity presents itself.
Here's the 1-2. Grounder up the middle. Rodriguez is there, flips it to second. Did he get to? It looked like the first baseman came off the bag, but the umpire said he did not. 1 run will score, so the Riptide now have 3 on the board, but a double play gets Rosas and Wold out. 2 down now with nobody on.
Looked to be a hanging slider that Emilio Rosas could handle. Hit it sharply, but unfortunately for him, right towards the shortstop. On the bright side, the Orange County Riptide have delivered and cashed in the runners they had in scoring position.
So that brings up T.C. Swimmons. He foul tips the first pitch. 0-1. And it just seems like they keep getting unlucky with a lot of these calls because it seemed as almost the first baseman had been off the bat.
Yeah, close play, but hey, the first base umpire has a better vision than we do from up here, so who truly knows?
Breaking ball outside, 1-1. Good eye from Simmons. Spencer serving the man in the on-deck circle. He will bat if Simmons is able to get aboard. Simmons fouls that pitch off, 1-2.
No movement in the bullpen for the Barons, so it looks like the Riptide will have another opportunity at this pitcher if he remains in the ballgame, perhaps in the bottom half of the 4th inning. And that's good news because above everything, they've been making some really solid contact.
Here's the 1-2 pitch. Right back to the mound. Good glove from Martinez to end the inning. The Riptide put on 3. They still trail by 5 as we go to the 4th. The Riptide cut the deficit to only 5 runs. They trail 8-3 back in that last half of the third inning. Josiah Castillo back on for his second inning of work. He's facing the first baseman, Jalen Williams.
So far, the offense has done its job for the Orange County Riptide and their pitching. Backing up their pitchers, now it's time for the pitchers to go ahead and put over a quality outing.
As Williams gets a base hit to lead off the fourth inning. And that brings up Basil Williams, the center fielder. He walked and grounded out to short in his 2 at-bats here today.
Now batting number 23, Basil Williams.
Was the 6th hit of the ball game for the Barons. That pitch is on the outside corner, or just outside, 1-0.
I like to see that Charlie Taylor is aware of the speed of the runner aboard at first base. Did a nice job of linking him back to the bag.
Basil Williams has really struggled. Only 1 hit so far this season as he hits a grounder over to second. Could be 2. And it is. That was a very clean 4-6-3 double play.
Yeah, just what you needed there if you're the Orange County Riptide. Want to get 3 quick outs and go ahead and string together some more quality at-bats like they did.
And that brings up Alex Rodriguez, the shortstop from USC. He's grounded out to third and then walked in his second at-bat. Also scored a run. Rodriguez came into today batting .286 for the Barons. And he hits a hard hit fly ball towards center field. Kyle Booker is there to make the out. Good speed shown from Kyle Booker, and that is the inning that the Riptide needed from Josiah Castillo. 1-2-3. We go to the bottom of the fourth.
Side from Texas, Rio Grande Valley. Hitter number 47, Spencer Servin.
Spencer Serving going to lead things off here in the bottom of the fourth for the Riptide. They put on 3 in their last chance back in the bottom of the third. Spencer Servin in his first at-bat doubled. That was his 6th double of the season. And he's quickly ahead 2-0.
Yeah, Servin made some really nice contact his last at-bat. Hopefully he waits for that same pitch here and is able to get us started.
Facing Chaz Martinez back out for his 4th inning of work. Check swing, called strike, 2-1.
And a good take there by Spencer Servin. That was a well-located pitch on the inside half. Not much he can do there.
Here's the 2-1 count. Just outside 3-1. Good eye there from Servin.
Yeah, and a good pitch there by Chaz Martinez.
Looked like it might have been like a backdoor cutter or slider.
Like to be in the strike zone as well.
And that's that half of the plate that has been very, very tight from this umpire today. Here's the 3-1. Swing and a miss, 3-2.
Like to be a changeup there. Nice call on the pitch by the catcher behind the plate.
Here's the 3-2. Foul tip, but into the catcher's glove. Strike 3. So Spencer Servin goes down on strikes, and that brings up Tank Espalin. Tank grounded out to third in his first at-bat. First pitch to Tank is on the outside corner, 0-1.
Martinez did a nice job that last at-bat, working from 3-1 to a strikeout.
Fouled off down the third baseline, 0-2. Go ahead.
And that seems to have boosted his confidence because he is not wasting too much time in between pitches, coming right after these Riptide hitters.
Tank is actually leading the Riptide in batting average in league play early in this summer ball season. As that fastball is inside, 1-2.
Saw that call behind the plate, was ready to throw that one around the horn. Did seem to be well outside of the zone.
Here's the 1-2. Breaking ball outside, 2-2. Good job there from Tank to be able to lay off that one. That's a tough one to lay off because it starts right inside the zone and just breaks right out.
Yeah, especially when it's coming from a left-handed pitcher and you are a left-handed batter yourself.
Here's the 2-2. Check swing, just high. Martinez visibly not happy about that call, but the count is now full.
Yeah, perhaps it wasn't a strike on the back crossing the plate, but it did seem to be in the zone.
So Tank Espalin is aboard with a one-out walk. Martinez not too happy about those calls. That brings up Charlie Taylor, who grounded out back to the pitcher in his first at-bat. That was a hard-hit ground ball right up the middle that had base hit written all over it. Just got unlucky and hit the leg of Chaz Martinez.
Yeah, also took a run off the board for the Orange County Riptide, so heads-up play by Martinez on the mound. And Chaz, in regards to the officiating so far in the game, one of the positives is that the officiating has been consistent. That tight strike zone has remained from top to bottom.
Tank Espalin over on first base has 2 stolen bases this summer. It's a breaking ball called strike, 0-1. Check swing just outside, 1-1. And there's that corner of the plate again where it looked like that could have been over the heart of the plate, and the umpire just isn't calling it there.
And that's why we mentioned that these Riptide hitters have to use that towards their advantage.
Here's the 1-1. Way outside the zone. Oh, nope. 1-2 now. And I guess I spoke too soon there because it seemed that has been a ball all day long.
Perhaps the makeup call or the catcher behind the plate chase call also did a nice job of framing that one and making it look like a strike.
Nonetheless, 1-2 count, 1 out, runner on first. Swing and a miss, strike 3. That's the 4th strikeout of the ball game now for Martinez.
And despite having 6 hits against him, Martinez on the mound is not afraid to challenge these Orange County Riptide hitters. 2 strikeouts already this half inning on a fastball.
So that brings up Tyler Griggs with 2 outs. Griggs singled back in the 2nd inning. He got their 3-run rally going. He scored the first of those 3 runs. And the first pitch to Griggs on the outside corner, 0-1. Martinez taking a long look at Espalin. So that pitch is high, 1-1. We usually see some little bit of dancing out from Tankaspon on the base pass, being a little bit more calm right now. Maybe that has to do with the fact that Martinez is a lefty pitcher and can just flip the ball over there without even needing to turn.
That's very true, and Tankaspon does have 3 stolen bases on the season, so it wouldn't be a terrible situation.
Spallin goes, but Griggs fouls it off. So Mitch Levere going with the hit and run unsuccessfully.
I like the idea there, moving him to scoring position with 2 outs.
Griggs a very good contact hitter, as we all know. Maybe we could see and try and get Tank scoring from first to third if Griggs is able to get a base hit. That pitch in the dirt, 2-2.
I wonder if Spallin will decide to go here with 2 strikes. That's a good sized lead.
Here's the 2-2. Chopper towards short. Rodriguez is there. Strong throw over to first to end the inning. Tankaspon got himself on base, but the Riptide are unable to cash in on his walk. We go to the 5th. The Riptide still trail 8-3. Josiah Castillo back for his 3rd inning of work. The Riptide trail 8-3. Ronnie Belton, the right fielder, leading things off in the 5th for the Barons. He walked in both of his at-bats here today. Here's the first pitch of the inning. Check swing, called strike, 0-1.
And I like what I've seen so far from Josiah Castillo. He's mixing up his pitches very well, putting the ball in play, getting some quick outs for the Riptide.
Breaking ball catches the outside corner, 0-2.
And the breaking ball is working very well for him. I like that location on the outside half of the plate.
So first strikeout opportunity now for Josiah Castillo. But Belton is able to foul that pitch off. Count remains 0-2.
And it's good for Castillo to keep the ball in play just because it maximizes his pitch count, you know? Getting quick outs works towards your advantage. You want to salvage some innings for your bullpen.
Breaking ball just outside the zone. 1-2. I think Castillo realized he got away with a pitch there.
Yeah, that definitely was intended to be much lower than it wound up.
Ronnie Belton laid off it. Righty on righty matchup. Here's the 1-2 once again. Breaking ball outside, 2-2.
And I like the fact that he had the confidence to go back to that breaking ball, even though he did not throw the pitch that he was waiting for.
Castillo worked a 1-2-3 inning back in the 4th. Here's the 2-2. That pitch runs inside 3-2. So good job now from Ronnie Belton working himself back from the 0-2 count.
Yeah, and that was not a bad pitch from Josiah Castillo, an inside fastball.
Line drive, left center field. Austin Krisick is there, so that's a leadoff single and the first hit of the ball game for Ronnie Belton.
And Krisick did a nice job in left field to cut off that ball quickly. It was heading towards the gap, so Rodriguez could have had an opportunity to extend that to a double.
That was Belton's 5th hit of the summer for the Barons. Now this brings up the catcher Chase Call. Call singled in his last at-bat back in the 3rd. Fastball on the outside corner, 0-1. Breaking ball just inside, 1-1.
I think if Charlie Taylor may have kept that one up there a little bit longer, could have had a chance of being called a strike.
Chase Call, a versatile player, catcher, first base, third base, and outfield. He hits a high fly ball, should stay in the infield. Tank Espalin is there, and he makes the tough catch. 1 down.
Yeah, tough catch indeed. That was a major league pop fly towards the left side of the infield. Espalin had to wait quite a while to go ahead.
The ball faded pretty hardly, too.
Yeah, he had to wait quite a while to go ahead and see the ball to his glove.
Not a ton of wind here today. A little bit moving out towards right. Top of the lineup now for Jordan Williams. This is his 4th at-bat of the ball game. Shows bunt, foul. Ronnie Belton, the man on first. Belton has 1 stolen base this season. Line drive down the right field line. That gets behind T.C. Simmons. And the arm of T.C. Simmons holds the runner, Ronnie Belton, over at third base. That's a really nice throw there.
Yeah, I'm surprised that the third base coach decided to hold Belton at third base.
He was cooking around the bases.
Yeah, it looked like he had an opportunity to score, but with only 1 out and the better portion of your lineup due up, I can see why he made the decision to hold the runner.
So runners on 2nd and 3rd now for Nicholas Marlborough. He is 0 for 2 tonight with a walk. That last hit was Jordan Williams' 2nd double of the summer. Pooched out towards right center. 1 run will score. Runner goes. Decent throw there from Booker, not in time. So 2-run RBI single for Nicholas Marlborough. And the Barons are now into double digits, 10-3.
Good at bat there by Marlborough. Split the gap towards right center field. I'm actually quite unsure as to why Williams was holding up at second base. That ball had base hit written all over it from the beginning, which is why there was even a close play at the plate.
Did a good job. That ball was outside the strike zone. That's another hit. This one into left field. Still only 1 out, 2 runners on, 1 out.
And it looks like these Barons hitters are realizing that Josiah Castillo is being very aggressive in the strike zone. He's been throwing strikes more times than not, so they're taking a swing at that first pitch. And like Darren Williams of the Riptide told us, more times than not, that first pitch is the best pitch that you can handle.
That now brings up the designated hitter, Darian McDowell. McDowell has a single and 2 strikeouts. Swing and a miss on the first pitch, 0-1. That was a nice little curveball. Definitely expecting fastballs. We've seen Josiah Castillo do a lot in these first couple pitches of an at-bat.
The Academy Barons have done a nice job at the plate, especially putting some runs on the board.
Swing and a miss, went right back to that curveball, 0-2.
We're only in the top half of the 5th inning, and they already have 10 runs. Last ball game, they put up a 7 spot against the Orange County Riptide, and that game they also came out victorious 7-3.
They split the season series 1-1. Here's the 0-2 pitch to McDowell. Ground ball up the middle. Espalin diving play, unable to make the flip over to Griggs at second base, and the bases will be loaded with 1 out.
Such a tough play for Spallin. Kudos to him. That was a hard hit ball heading up the middle. Did a nice job of getting a glove to that one. Just unable to execute that good throw.
It did hold the runner over at third base. So the score remains 10-3, and this brings up Jalen Williams. Basil Williams will be the man on deck. That is the 5th hit now of the inning for the Barons. Fly ball should stay in the infield. Rosas calling for it, and he makes the catch, 2 down.
And you saw that again there, Chaz. First pitch swing from the Academy Barons. So if you're Josiah Castillo, you want to pick that up. Perhaps not be too aggressive on that first pitch of the at-bat and work those outside corners. And maybe even throw an off-speed pitch.
This brings up Basil Williams. Williams is 0 for 2. Grounded out into a double play his last at-bat. Did score a run back in the second. That pitch is fouled off of his shin. That doesn't feel too good. And that was really good from Josiah Castillo, able to get that quick out against the last hitter, because now there's 2 outs and you have an out at any base. And even with the bases loaded, you get an out, no one can score.
Yeah, I mean, of course you would have loved to prevent a few runs from scoring here, but it's happened. And the Orange County Riptide still do have a lot of innings to play with.
Josiah Castillo facing Basil Williams. 2 outs, bases loaded. Fouled off behind the plate, 0-2.
Just a reminder, Riptide fans, if you happen to recover a foul ball, please return to the information table. You can get an autographed baseball, candy, or a special prize.
So Castillo 1 out, or 1 strike away and 1 out away from getting out of this inning. Chopped foul. Count will remain 0-2. And I think for the confidence of the pitcher on the mound, he could really go with the strikeout here.
Yeah, a strikeout, but at the end of the day, an out's an out. So anything that you can settle for would be good.
And most importantly, you got to keep that score where it's at.
Yeah. Hey, 7 runs was our season high. Another chance to do that here tonight.
Here's the 0-2 pitch. Just outside. Good job from Basil Williams to lay off that pitch. Basil Williams only has 1 hit on the Summers. That pitch is fouled off behind the plate. 1-2.
Big swing there from Williams, just unable to square up that last pitch.
Williams has been susceptible to the strikeout. He's struck out 12 times so far in his 27 at-bats this summer. Crowd getting loud for Josiah Castillo. Here's the 1-2. High, 2-2.
And if you're Castillo, that breaking ball has been working well for you so far. Perhaps try to get Williams at the plate, pardon me, chasing.
We've seen that curveball work well. He goes right back to it to get the strikeout. Nice curveball there from Josiah Castillo. Ends the top half of the 5th inning. We go to the bottom of the 5th. The Riptide trail 10-3. Top of the lineup for the Riptide here in the bottom of the fifth. They're behind by 7. We've seen them come back and tie a ball game. They'd stopped it as Booker, the leadoff hitter, chops it over to first. Beats the throw. Good speed there from Kyle Booker. Infield single for him. His second hit of the day.
Yeah, Kyle Booker off to the races with that last at-bat. And you see what speed does for you. Opens up opportunities for base hits, and now even more. No outs. See him to go ahead and perhaps steal a base here.
Now batting will be Austin Krisick, the left fielder. 2 hits for him today. Singled back in the first and had a double back in the third.
I don't think a hit and run would be a horrible idea here, especially since Krisick has gone the opposite way twice.
We just saw the speed from Kyle Booker being able to beat out that ground ball. Krisick calls for time. And as I was saying before Booker hit the chopper, we've seen the Riptide come back from a run deficit like this before. They came back a couple of nights to tie the game. They went to extra innings. They unfortunately were unable to finish the job. However, we've seen them come back. Call trying to catch Booker out over at first unsuccessfully.
Yeah, not a bad idea on that backdoor throw from Call behind the plate. Kyle Booker likes to get antsy on the base paths. That's just what he does. He brings that kind of energy and electrifying atmosphere to any ball game.
0-1 count to Krisick. Breaking ball. I'm not really sure what the umpire called there. Looks like a ball, 1-1. Looks like he might be calling Mitch Levere to come talk to him. Jonathan, what do you think's going on there? It just seemed like the umpire just walked out and called Mitch over.
So Mitch doesn't look too happy there. Perhaps it's some chirping from the third base dugout. I saw the home plate umpire point a finger down there. I think the home plate umpire may have issued a warning.
The count will be 1-1. No outs. Kyle Booker, the man on first with a leadoff single. Austin Krisick, the man at the plate. He's 2 for 2 today. Breaking ball catches the outside corner, 1-2.
So as we've seen already, Krisick is not phased with 2 strikes. We've seen an opposite field single down in the count at 0-2 before.
Austin Krisick hit .361 for UNLV last season. So he swings and misses. Actually, he foul-tipped that one, so the count will remain 1-2. Chaz Martinez back on the mound. This is his 5th inning of work. And aside from the 3-run third, he's been phenomenal.
Yeah, aside from that 3-run third inning, he surely has been staying around the strike zone and incorporating that curveball to his advantage.
5 strikeouts for him today. Count now moves to 2-2. And the Riptide have gotten hits. Problem is, outside of that third inning, they just haven't been able to make them count.
I mean, 3 runs on the board is a start, so hopefully they can build off of that.
Booker goes. Hit and run called. Fly ball into right center field. That one will get in the gap. Austin Krisick going 2. Kyle Booker over to third. So that is back-to-back doubles now for Austin Krisick. He is 3 for 3 today.
Yeah, Austin Krisick has provided that spark in the lineup that the Orange County Riptide have been in great need of. He's keeping them in this ball game. Now it's time for the middle of the lineup to build off of this opportunity.
2 runners in scoring position with no outs for Jack Thomas Wold. We saw him in a similar situation in his last at-bat, and he had an RBI single into left field.
Yeah, these left-handed hitters have had really good success against Chaz Martinez so far in the ballgame. Hopefully Jack Thomas Wold can deliver an RBI here, perhaps even 2.
There is a left-hander now warming up in the Barons bullpen. So we'll see how much longer Martinez has left in him. As Wold fouls off the first pitch off the catcher. Hopefully he's okay. 0-1 count now. Barons manager going out to talk to him. And that's always a tough part about being a catcher, is just being so close, and a little quick foul ball can catch you, and it ain't going to feel good.
Yeah, you know, my respect to catchers, besides the fact that they have to squat for 9 innings, they take a beating behind the plate. So anytime they need to go ahead and recover, gladly give it to them.
We're going to take a quick break. while Chase Call gets attended to by the trainers. When you come back, no outs. The Riptide have 2 runners in scoring position. They trail 10-3. Really quick break there. Chase Call showing off some toughness. 0-1 count to Jack Thomas Wold. 2 runners on with no outs. 2 runners in scoring position, even better yet for the Riptide. Chaz Martinez still out on the mound. Umpire calls time. And we're back in it once again. Really good opportunity for the Riptide to get back in this ball game. As that breaking ball runs inside, 1-1.
And you see 8 hits in the column for the Orange County Riptide, and we're not even halfway through the game yet. You love to see that. They've been delivering some quality at-bats, putting solid contact on the baseball.
Here's the 1-1 to Wold. Fastball low, 2-1.
The makings of a really good at-bat for Jack Thomas Wold. He is ahead in the count at 2 balls and 1 strike. And as I mentioned, even from the left side, he dominates left-handed pitching.
A right-hander warming up in the bullpen for the Riptides. That might suggest that Josiah Castillo's night will be done soon, as Wold rips one down the line, but foul. 2-2.
Yeah, that was a hanging breaking ball that Jack Thomas Wold was waiting for. Unfortunately for him, he was 2 out in front.
Still no outs. The Riptide have 2 runners in scoring position. Kyle Booker had a leadoff single. Austin Krisick followed that with a double. Jack Thomas Wold steps out of the batter's box. And now he's back in. He's hitting .309 for the Riptide. He's driven in 13 runs this season. So that pitch is low, full count.
Such a good at-bat here for Jack Thomas Wold from down in the count, working it in his favor.
I wouldn't be shocked if we see a pitching change after this. Actually, no, it's a lefty in the bullpen, so it was, my point wouldn't have even counted. Who knows? As Wold swings and misses. Oh, foul tip out of the catcher's mitt. This bat will continue.
And the Riptide catch a huge break there. And I know that, the catcher behind the plate is kicking himself. You do not want to give extra life to Jack Thomas Wold at the plate because he can make you pay.
Sure, a lot of the scouts around the stadium looking a lot at this guy as Wold grounds one foul. Obviously, that MLB draft coming up. When you put up a .429 average and hit 12 bombs, you're going to be on some scouts' radars.
Yeah, without a doubt, Jack Thomas Wold is a force to be reckoned with, and he has surely caught the attention of many Major League ball clubs.
Davis Diaz, the middle infielder for the Riptide, not playing today because he's at a scouting event up in Oakland. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Called ball 4, and Wold walks to load the bases.
A good veteran at-bat there by Jack Thomas Wold. And he's also noted that the strike zone for the home plate umpire has been fairly tight, so he wisely laid off of that pitch knowing that it would work in his favor.
Mound visit now from the coaching staff of the Barons. We'll see if this is the pitching change that they're finally going to make. It seems like they're just talking about something maybe out there. Doesn't appear that they're going to be making a switch just yet. So it's going to be bases loaded with no outs for Emilio Rosas. Rosas is 0 for 2 tonight. He grounded in to his 6-4-3 double play in his last at-bat. And that's probably worst case scenario right now.
Yeah, and if you're Orange County, you want to take advantage of this opportunity. I think this inning is going to make or break the remainder of this ballgame. Bases loaded, no outs with a 7-run deficit. You can definitely chip at that right here.
Rosas went into the 6-4-3 double play. As we mentioned, his last at-bat. That was back in the 3rd inning. He grounded out to first, back in the first. And for Rosas coming into today, he was hitting over 300, hitting 310. He's now looking at a 1-0 count. Hits for some power too, slugging 476 on the summer. That pitch catches the outside corner, 1-1. And that's just a really nice pitch from Martinez on the backdoor breaking ball.
Yeah, and a good take there as well from Rosas. I mean, it did look to be off the zone, and there's really not much you can do there besides a ground ball.
Here's the 1-1. Grounder right back to the mound, throws it home, and throws it to first, so a double play. Heads up there from Chaz Martinez. No runs will score. 2 down
And
for
it's
TC Simmons. Go ahead.
It's just been that kind of a game for the Orange County Riptide. So many opportunities to capitalize on, whether it be on defense or on offense. It looks like the Barons are getting the lucky end of the stick. That's a hard hit ball written all over it for a base hit instead of double play.
We do have to give credit, though, to Chaz Martinez out on the mound. He's been phenomenal with his glove out there. We've seen him block a couple of plays, a couple of hard hit balls right back up the middle, and made a few plays. And that one was probably the most important. With the first pitch to TC Simmons is a good breaking ball in the outside corner, 0-1.
Yeah, that was a 1-2-3 double play. You do not see that too often.
So Martinez and Call showing some baseball IQ out there. Still a good opportunity for the Riptide to put a run up on the board. So that pitch is a called ball. 1-1.
Yeah, those 2 runs are huge aboard at third and second base for Orange County. If they can cut this deficit in half for the second portion of the ball game, then they put themselves in an opportunity to still come back.
TC Simmons was key in that comeback back a couple games ago, where we saw them come back from 7 runs to tie the ball game. He's now behind 1-2 after fouling that last pitch off. I believe he had a 2 RBI single into right field between the gap between first and second, and the Riptide could really use another one of those right now. Here's the 1-2 pitch outside. That was a good-looking breaking ball. TC Simmons does well to lay off of it, 2-2. This is probably the biggest crowd we've seen so far here tonight, as that pitch in the dirt, one-hopped it to the plate, 3-2.
Yeah, and if you're TC Simmons here, make sure that it's a pitch you can handle. They do have an open base, so perhaps they're working around you, but with this kind of a lead, they might just challenge you down the heart of the plate.
Here's the full count pitch. Fouled off Simmons. Got a breaking ball a little bit out in front. Spencer serving and waiting in the on-deck circle. We'll see if he gets a chance, if TC Simmons is able to get aboard safely. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Swung on and missed. Nice pitch from Chaz Martinez to get out of a jam. The Riptide had a good opportunity. They had the bases loaded with no outs, but they're unable to cash in. We go to the 6th. The Riptide trail by 7. The new pitcher for the Riptide is Dalton Wood, the junior from Katy, Texas, attends Rice, and he's been really good so far for the Riptide. He's got a record of 1-0 and only a 1.92 ERA. Struck out 7 batters, only allowed 2 hits.
Yeah, and the Riptide want to see some quality innings out of Dalton Wood. Hopefully he can preserve this deficit here and, provide some rest for the remainder of the bullpen.
It's the first time we've seen Dalton in a while. His last appearance came on June 13th. He's now behind to Alex Rodriguez, 2-0.
He came out of retirement, Alex Rodriguez.
Alex Rodriguez comes from a baseball family. His dad is actually an agent. And Rodriguez is now ahead 3-0.
Ooh,
he plays the position. He's got the name.
Used to get drafted, Chaz.
Me or him?
Yeah. No, you hit up his dad.
I don't play baseball.
Oh, great.
Here's the 3-0. Has a nice pitch on the inside corner, 3-1. But hey, I can submit my my draft card for the Premier Lacrosse League next year.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Won't get drafted, but
Still
why not?
submitted?
Yeah, I can submit it. There's only 3 rounds. I'm not an All-American, so it's not happening. Dalton Wood now into a 3-2 count. Looking for his 8th strikeout on the season. High fly ball left field. Austin Krissick chasing it. Here's the warning track off the wall. And that's a double to lead off the 6th for Alex Rodriguez.
Yeah, and perhaps on a night with more wind, that ball surely leaves the ballpark. Fortunately for the pitcher on the mound, the wind was blowing the opposite way, so it helped in knocking that one down and making the hitter at the plate settle for a double.
Number 22, Ronnie Belton.
That brings up Ronnie Belton. Belton, 1 for 1 with a single and 2 walks. Lots of kids around the ballpark here today. That's always a good sign to see. Enjoying some Friday night baseball.
Yeah, and despite the scoreboard, I can say that I'm really enjoying the atmosphere here today. A lot of fans are getting excited, and they've seen a total of 13 runs. Unfortunately, 10 of those belong to our opponent, but it's been an action-packed game.
First pitch to Belton was inside, 1-0. And it's not like the Riptide they're losing by 7 runs, but it hasn't been like they've been outclassed. They just haven't taken advantage of the opportunities that they had, like the last inning where they had the bases loaded with no outs and didn't put up a single run.
And more than anything, I just don't think they've caught their break. I mean, we saw some hard-hit balls go the opposite way for the Orange County Riptide.
A couple bounces just didn't seem to bounce their way either, defensively.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you have a couple of double plays that were slowly hit balls, so we were unable to ultimately turn 2. And then we had scoring opportunities where we hit a ball right back up the middle, but the pitcher was standing in the way.
You could also argue a couple calls from the umpires went against the Riptide. So
especially our starting pitching.
Yeah, it just hasn't quite gone in their favor, but we've seen them come back from 7 before. As Belton swings and misses. Nice fastball on the outside corner from Dalton Wood, 2-1 now. That pitch was just low, 3-1.
So far, not the start that Dalton Wood was looking to have. He's been a little bit shaky, not able to find the strike zone, but the Barons have yet to put a run on the board. He's still very well in control and can get out of this inning unscathed.
That pitch is fouled off, 3-2. I think this is a really key at bat now for Dalton Wood to try and get 1 out on the board. You got a runner in scoring position. Try and get that to 1 out. Don't let him get over to third base. So then a base hit would easily score, or even a ball hit to the outfield probably scores the speedy runner Alex Rodriguez. Rodriguez has only 1 stolen base on the season. That last at-bat was his 3rd hit of the summer. Granted, it was only his 9th at-bat. Here's the full count pitch. On the outside corner, called strike 3. Nice pitch from Dalton Wood to get his first strikeout of the ball game against Ronnie Belton.
Yeah, Belton very disappointed with that call. Turned back and had a few words with the umpire, but just such a quality pitch on the inside corner. Nicely done there by Dalton Wood.
That brings up the 9-hole hitter and the catcher, Chase Call. He's 1 for 2 with a single and a walk. Wood taking a nice long look at Rodriguez, and his first pitch goes right back to that inside corner, 0-1.
Yeah, you can live there any day of the week. Low inside, especially to these hitters that are crowding the plate.
Dalton Wood seems to be dialed in, especially on that inside corner to the right-handed hitters. Here's the 0-1. Grounder over to third. Rosas is there. Goes back to second base. The runner, Rodriguez, is safe. And I'm not really sure what he was doing there. The runner was going back. Could have gone over to first to get the out.
Yeah, in that situation, you want to take advantage of the sure out, throw towards first base. But Rosas thought he had the opportunity and perhaps thought that Rodriguez was hung out to dry.
Top of the lineup now, Jordan Williams with 1 out. Shows bunt, but pulls it back, 1-0.
So at the very least, you do have a runner aboard at first base, and a ground ball can get you out of the inning.
Jordan Williams is 2 for 3, doubled in his last at-bat. So a dangerous hitter at the plate with 2 outs, or 2 runners on and 1 out. That pitch is outside, 2-0. And now you have to think that Dalton Wood's going to be looking for that double play ball. It hasn't quite been there today for the Riptide. They've gotten 2 of them, but they've had a lot more opportunities, and bounces and calls just haven't quite gone their way.
Yeah, they've been on the...
Here's a bunt. That ball just goes foul. That ball was just on the line. Charlie Taylor looked like he got the runner over at first.
And Chaz, from here...
Oh, no, they call it a fair ball.
Yeah.
Did they call it foul?
No,
okay.
they called it foul.
They called it foul.
So
Sorry, I was confused there.
From here, he clearly picked up that ball in fair territory.
Yeah, it looked like it was on the line.
Yeah, I'm not too sure about the call there.
There is a bit of a... The line is very... I don't know. How do we describe it? The line is pretty much shaded over there because the dirt seemed to go over the chalk. But that looked like Taylor clearly picked that ball up in fair territory. Nonetheless, 2-1 count, 1 out, runners on first and second. Williams fouls that pitch off 2-2. But I guess it may work out in the Riptide favor if Dalton Wood's able to get a strikeout here and the runners don't advance.
Yeah, I mean, a strikeout here or a ground out would do. Just getting an out in general, keeping these runners at first and second base, and hopefully getting away from the inning without surrendering a run.
Here's the 2-2 from Wood. Swung on and missed. Fastball on the outside corner. Nice pitch, and the first strikeout of the ball game for Dalton Wood.
Yeah, good location on the outside corner. Not much Williams could do with that one. Just swung and missed.
So that brings up Nicholas Malbrough. He singled in his last at-bat. 2 outs with 2 runners on. Dalton Wood is 1 out away from getting out of this inning. That pitch looked good, but it's a bit low. 1-0. Nicholas Malbrough, the second baseman, now at Mission College. He hits a line drive into left field. Rodriguez rounding third. The throw from Thomas will be cut off by Griggs. And the Barons now have their 11th run of the ball game.
Yeah, and these few runs sprinkled around the scoreboard, or across the scoreboard, better said, for the Barons make it that much more difficult for the Riptide to erase this deficit.
So that brings up the Tennessee Volunteer, Alec Gonzalez, with 2 outs and runners on the corners. Fastball catches the outside corner, 0-1. Alec Gonzalez, teammates at Tennessee with the man behind the dish, Charlie Taylor, and the guy out in center field, Kyle Booker. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Swing and a miss, 0-2. Looked like that might have been a changeup that ran in on the hands of Gonzalez. 2 outs, runners on the corners. That pitch is outside, 1-2. Good block there from Taylor.
Yeah, Taylor has done a nice job throughout this ball game, not allowing any balls to get past him. He's limited the run game for the Barons.
Here's the 1-2. High fly ball left field. Fading.
Go foul, go foul, go foul.
And that's not going to go foul. It's going to be a 3-run home run for Alec Gonzalez. He got a hold of that one, and the wind kept it fair.
Yeah, inside fastball. Gonzalez did a nice job of turning his hips, driving it, pulling it over the left field fence. And Chaz, 7 runs is one thing, but now the Riptide are down by 11. And given how late we are in the ball game, it may very well be out of reach.
That's a tough one to give up. That brings up Darian McDowell. McDowell 2 for 3, and he's got himself his 3rd hit of the ball game into right field. T.C. Simmons bobbled it at first, but McDowell still going to have to settle for a single. That's 3 straight hits now for the Barons. Jalen Phillips, 2 for 3 as well. And now the Riptide pitchers have given up 15 hits.
Yeah, it's been a tough going for the Orange County Riptide, especially on the mound. Chaz, I wouldn't be surprised if sooner or later we see Austin Krissick take over. Just because, hey, they need to salvage these arms in the bullpen for these upcoming games this weekend.
We saw Krissick pitch 2 innings a couple games ago. Here's a fly ball. This could end the inning. Tyler Griggs. Oh, miscommunication between Griggs and Simmons will continue the inning, but a nice throw over to third. Did he get him? No, he did not. And a bad night just goes from bad to worse now for the Riptide.
Yeah, it's just been one of those nights for the Orange County Riptide. It seems like if they do not
just
have
going their way.
Yeah, if they don't have bad luck, they do not have any kind of luck at all. Bouncing balls going the opposite way for the Barons, close calls favoring the Barons. Softly hit balls, unable to execute the plays for the Riptide.
That's tough out there for Dalton Wood. You thought he probably could have gotten out of the inning prior to that home run, but a couple miscues defensively allowed this lead to probably get out of reach for the Riptide. Here's a hard hit ball into center field. Booker is there to end the inning.
And
The Barons go ahead.
I think before we take a break, we also just have to tip our cap to the Academy Barons. I mean, putting up 16 hits, that is such a large number. And it's tough, man. I mean, the Barons are a team that more times than not is overlooked. And, hey, you can't do anything now but just tip your cap.
We go to the bottom of the 6th. The Riptide trail 14-3. New pitcher on the mound for the Barons is Amari Paula from Eastern Kentucky. He redshirted this past season. Leadoff man for the Riptide is going to be Spencer Servin. Servin is 1 for 2 with a double and a strikeout here tonight. He swings and misses 1-1.
And despite 17 runs being on the scoreboard, I feel like the pace of play has been fairly quick, and that is because these hitters at the plate have been very aggressive in their approaches.
We're now up to over 20 hits, 24 to be exact, between both teams. And the Riptide just seem to not have things be falling their way. They're down 11 runs.
Yeah, and we still have a lot of game to play with. And I don't know if that's good news or bad news for the Riptide.
It's the 2-1 pitch. There's a called strike on the inside corner.
I say that because at one point, you just kind of want to look over towards the next game. But you also do have an opportunity to maybe chip away at this deficit.
Fastball low, 3-2.
And Chaz, that's the reason as to why I mentioned, when we had the bases loaded with no outs, we wanted to capitalize on that opportunity. And unfortunately for us, it was a hard hit ball towards the mound. They turned double play and killed the momentum.
Here's the 3-2 pitch. In the dirt, so Servin is aboard with the leadoff walk. And that brings up Tank Espalin. Espalin himself walked in his last at-bat, grounded out in his first. And as of late, Espalin have been swinging the bat really well. And since league play started, he's leading the Riptide in batting average.
Yeah, Tank Espalin has been a good surprise for the Orange County Riptide. I mean, these kinds of numbers that he has posted surpass, not the expectations, because we knew that he would be a solid bat, but I know he's going above and beyond for sure.
That pitch is high, 1-0. Espalin, currently uncommitted, played his freshman season at Indiana. Got some good play time. Struggled at the plate, however, was really good defensively. He was originally committed to USC, but had to go to Indiana because of COVID and all the scholarship problems that COVID really induced.
Yeah, and during the summer, Tank Espalin wants to take advantage of these moments to develop his strength at the plate, getting in the reps, becoming more familiar with the pitches, and overall becoming a better hitter.
Here's the 1-1 to Espalin. In the dirt, Servin's going to take off for second. It got behind the catcher call, so Servin is aboard standing up at second base, and the Riptide have a man in scoring position with no outs.
Just continue to chip away, that's all I can say. We still have a good amount of the game left for us. And as I mentioned earlier, you do not have to get all of those runs back this inning. But hey, putting up a 4 and a 5 spot here and there is not a bad idea either.
They got 12 outs to chip away at an 11-run lead. And it all starts with 1. Two-one count to Tank Espalin facing Amari Paula. Paula, as we mentioned earlier, redshirted at his time at Eastern Kentucky. As Espalin hits a high fly ball down the left field line. Fading foul and out of play.
Chaz, I was just about to say, it is now that time of day. And what time? The time of day where the balls get lost out in left field.
It's the blind time. You just can't see that ball.
Yeah, and you saw the left fielder for the Academy Barons look up and say, hey, I don't know where the ball is. Fortunately for him, it did hook into foul territory. And you see his body language again there. He is still holding his hands out saying, I can't see it.
Oh, we just had a coach thrown out of the ball game.
Is that Mitch? No, that is not Mitch LaVere,
that is
actually.
a bench coach. We apologize if any of the mics caught any of that language.
Yeah, he told him, I love you, and the umpire said, I love you, and he said, no, I love you more. So we apologize for that. And that just kind of speaks volume to the kind of game that the Orange County Riptide are having. And Mitch LaVere is continuing the conversation here. Now, he's got to be careful to not get rung up himself. More times than not, he is a cool, calm, and collected guy.
But with that being said, that's something I think the Riptide players will respect out of one of their coaches. He's supporting them. He understands, and he's voicing the displeasure of all these players, especially with the strike zone around.
And frankly, I'm not too sure as to what just happened.
He just came out screaming.
Well, yeah, that's true, but the last play did not involve the umpires at all. I mean, it was a foul ball towards the left side.
The Riptide do definitely have an argument or a case to be made to be a little bit frustrated with the officiating here tonight. A couple close calls have not gone their way, but here's the 2-2. That pitch is outside the zone. Full count. Good eye there from Tank Espalon because that was a nice breaking ball breaking outside.
But, Chaz, at the same time, it's gone both ways. It's been some very tight calls, especially for the Riptide
They only
at
have
the
themselves
plate.
to blame for this scoreline.
Frankly, I think it's one of those moments where the phrase that fits is,
Spencer Servant takes off for third base. So that's a stolen base and a heads-up play from Spencer Servant as Tank Espalon is aboard with a walk. Runners on the corners. Nobody gone for Charlie Taylor. And Spencer Servant just showing off his baseball IQ.
Yeah, good aggressive heads-up play there. I mean, perhaps with this kind of a deficit, you want to go ahead and take care of those outs. But he saw the opportunity to thrive, and he went ahead and did so. And Chaz, as I was saying, I think the best way to describe this game, or the best message you can have is, don't hate the player, hate the game. They've caught some tough breaks. Baseball's a game of inches, and these inches have played a huge factor in the game today.
First pitch to Taylor is outside, 1-0. And you just got to, maybe if you lose this game, you just got to forget about it and go on to the next day. It's just one of those games where there's not really anything you're doing specifically terribly wrong. It's just things aren't necessarily clicking and everything seems to be going against you.
Yeah, as I mentioned, you have to give credit to the Academy Barons. They've strung together some really solid at-bats.
They've had 16 hits. That you cannot ignore that.
Yeah, and I know some of those have been, softly hit ground balls or whatnot, but a good bulk of those have been well-hit line drives towards the gaps.
Check swing. Did he go? No, he did not. 2-1. Most notably, solid contact was the 3-run home run in the previous inning. Alec Gonzalez really got a hold of the last one as that pitch is on the inside corner, 2-2.
And if you're the Riptide, you have to remember, like you said, you want to look ahead. They still do have a good, majority of the schedule left for them to make a run towards the playoffs. The top 3 teams in the division were currently sitting.
Base hit into left field. That will score Spencer Servant. Nice piece of hitting there from Charlie Taylor, getting his first hit of the ball game.
Yeah, we're currently sitting 3 games behind first place, but the team that we're currently chasing is the Arroyo Seco Saints. And behind them, we are only 1.5.
And that was that long game that we saw that went 13 innings. The Riptide ended up falling by 1 run. I believe the end score was 12-11.
Yeah, 12-11 was the final score of that crazy just marathon between the Riptide and the Saints.
This brings up Tyler Griggs. Griggs scored a run and singled back in the 3rd inning. Slow curveball, 12-6, called strike 1.
If you're Orange County, I think that you want to put up maybe at least 3 runs this half inning, cut the deficit in half, 7 runs through, the 7th, 8th, and 9th. Perhaps you can go ahead and pull it out of the bag like you did already one time.
2 runners on with no outs. Tyler Griggs at the plate. That pitch way inside, 1-1. Amari Paula from New Jersey, the redshirt freshman on the mound for the Barons. 6'3" left-hander. Throws that slow curveball high, 2-1.
So now that the bench coach has been hooked for the Orange County Riptide, it brings clarity to that situation we had earlier in the ballgame. Remember when you asked me, what went on the field? The home plate umpire seemed to have a conversation with Mitch Levere, and I think at that point he issued a warning to the dugout.
Here's the 2-1. Swung on and missed. Throw back to second base. Take a ball in there. He takes off for third, and he is going to be safe at third base. Heads up base running from Tank Espalon. And now the Riptide have runners on the corners with no outs.
Yeah, I really like that decision there from Tank Espalon to take the risk and run.
Taking a little break. Umpire calls time. He's looking back at that Riptide dugout. So clearly not happy with something that was said. Count is 2-2. No outs. Runners on the corners. Tyler Griggs facing Armari Paula. Breaking ball outside, 3-2.
So the Riptide are at the doorsteps of having the bases loaded with no outs. And Chaz, hey, this time around we really have to put up some good numbers on the board.
Got to take advantage of what you're given. They failed to take advantage of a bases loaded with no outs. They've already scored one run here. Fly ball into left.
Will be a tough play, remember.
Will be a tough play. The left fielder there makes the play. Tank Espalin forced to stay at third base due to the shallow catch from Jordan Williams. But we got to give credit to him because that's a tough play to make in that little pocket of zone in the, what are we going to call it, the blind time?
Yeah, the blind time, the blind spot. But luckily for Williams, that was not hit a mile up in the sky, so he had a good idea of where it was. And it was also hit shallow, so the light seems to go ahead and cover that specific space more than it does the other side.
So now it brings up Kyle Booker. The ball gets behind the catcher call. Charlie Taylor takes second base, so now the Riptide have two runners in scoring position. Kyle Booker tonight is 2 for 3 with 2 singles. And facing the left-hander Paula out on the mound, you got to think he's just got to be aware of that big 12-6 curveball.
Yeah, you have to keep an eye out for that. But if you're Booker,
Fastball down the heart of the plate, called strike, 1-1.
wait instead perhaps for one of those fastballs. You know, a pitch that you're comfortable with hitting. We've seen him go ahead and hit line drives when those fastballs sit out over the plate. Pardon me.
Here's the 1-1. Inside 2-1. Oh. They're going to call a balk, it seems like. So Tank Espalin will score. 14-5 now. Charlie Taylor advances to third. So the Riptide do catch a little bit of a break. It seems like that might have been the first one they've called all night.
Hey, this might be a shift in momentum for the Orange County Riptide. 15-14 the final score. How does it sound?
The ball gets behind the catcher call. Taylor taking off for home, and he is safe. So the Riptide now put on 3 runs already with only 1 out.
And call behind the plate held on to the ball for quite a while. I mean, I think he had a chance to go ahead and apply the tag in time to Taylor. But that hesitation allowed the Riptide an opportunity to score.
So a couple hiccups from Chase Call allow the Riptide to put on a couple of runs. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Only 1 out still. That pitch is on the outside corner, 2-2. Still only 1 out. Both teams have pitchers up in their bullpen. Foul tip. Count remains 2-2.
So now, Chaz, I'm curious to see the way Mitch LaVere will manage this game moving forward in regards to the pitching, you know, because as we mentioned, he wants to salvage those arms for the future games, but he's seen that his offense is putting together some at-bats.
Swung on and missed on the 12-6. The first strikeout of the ball game for Armari Paula. And that brings up Austin Krisick. You mentioned you wanted to see Austin Krisick back out on the mound, but I think they just need him in the middle of this lineup right now because he's 3 for 3 today with 2 doubles.
Well, he can remain in the lineup and, you know, take the mound for the Orange County Riptide. And the reason that's why I think Krisick is a viable option is because he is a good pitcher. I mean, based on what we've seen against the Arroyo Seco Saints, who I think from top to bottom has a better lineup than the Academy Barons, he can go ahead and get the job done.
Yeah, we saw Krisick on the mound, had pretty good command of his fastball, featured a nice breaking ball as well. Here's the 1-0 pitch, inside 2-0. He's
maybe-
also swinging the bat really well.
Or maybe the Riptide can have you pitch, Chaz. Wouldn't that be fun?
Maybe. I don't know how my elbow would do. It's been a while since we've been out there on the mound.
Also, you've pitched before.
Yeah, when I was like 12.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Here's the 2-0. Breaking ball called strike, 2-1.
Are you past your prime?
You know, I'm middle infielder at heart. You can catch me on the Greek League softball intramurals at ASU.
Oh, great.
Leadoff hitter. Here's the 2-1 to Krisick. Foul tip, 2-2. Why don't they get you out there?
I'm down. I mean, throw me over at first base. I'll string together some quality at-bats. I'll make it a little bit entertaining. No, I really won't. But you know what? Hey, I'm down. Baseball's fun.
2-2 count, 2 outs, nobody on. The Riptide have already scored 3. High fly ball center field. Basil Williams chasing, and he is there to end the inning. The Riptide put 3 on. They still trail 14-6. Dalton Wood returns to the mound for his second inning of work. He'll be facing Alex Rodriguez to start. First pitch to Rodriguez, inside 1-0. Right-hander in the bullpen warming up for the Riptide. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Inside 2-0. And that's the pitch that was really working for him back in that last inning, was the inside fastball to right-handed hitters.
Yeah, the inside fastball worked well for him, but he did get bitten on one of those that cleared the left field fence.
High fly ball. Griggs calls for it and makes the catch for the first out of the inning. So that brings up Ronnie Belton. Ronnie Belton, the right fielder. He's 1 for 2
Now batting number 22,
with
Ronnie Belton.
with 2 walks, a base hit, and a strikeout. Ronnie Belton, junior from GCU, the second best school in the Valley of the Sun out in Arizona. I think we all know what the best one is.
Arizona Community College.
No, I was saying Arizona State. Yeah, for those of you who don't know, that's where I go to school. This Wood now works himself in no one count. Back-to-back called strikes, 0-2.
Love you, Jazz.
Chase call, the catcher awaits in the on-deck circle. Here's the 0-2. Grounder chopped towards third base. Gets over Emilio Rosas. Tough play. And Belton's got himself a double. And that was just, that bounce could not have been
any worse. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think if there's one play that you can show to just describe this game, it was that one.
I mean, that thing was bouncing about hip high and then went 12 feet up in the air.
It seems like every time, something is building up and it's looking promising for the Riptide, it's just, swooped right out of the dirt by the Academy Barons.
Fly ball, foul. 0-1. That was the first pitch to Chase Call.
That foul ball is sponsored by Ultimate Auto Glass.
Chase Call, one of the younger players on the team for the Barons. He'll be right back here in Irvine next year playing for UC Irvine. I'm sure he can get used to score lines like this in this city. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Called strike 1-2. And for Dalton Wood, he's also gotten a bit unlucky out there on the mound. He probably could have gotten out of this, even the last inning, without surrendering any runs if a couple bounces went their way as well. Chopper towards the hole. Tankus Spallin goes back to second base, and they got the man in a little bit of a pickle. Rosas running him down. Wood there for the tag. Does a bit of the tumble, but he gets the out, 2 down.
A heads-up play there, beginning with the shortstop, Tankus Spallin. He knew that he could not throw the ball over towards first base in time, so he noticed that the runner on second base was hung out to dry. Then it looked like it was just going to be another one of those moments tonight, Chaz. But fortunately for the Riptide, Wood hustles towards second base and is able to go ahead and, play football for a little bit. Tackled almost the runner, applied the tag ultimately.
2 outs now for the top of the lineup in Jordan Williams. This is his 7th plate appearance of the ball game. First pitch to him, fastball on the outside corner, 0-1.
As I mentioned earlier, the Riptide want to limit these runs for the Barons. If they want to give an opportunity to themselves to come back into the game as time was called out the plate by the catcher, and the home plate umpire is making sure that everyone knows that. He pointed down at Charlie Taylor several times.
We've had a few confusing incidents out on the diamond today involving the umpires in both dugouts. Here's the 0-1, 2 outs. Grounded foul down the first baseline. Jordan Williams has 2 hits tonight. He had a single back in the first and a double back in the 5th. Umpire calls time once again. I think Jordan Williams might be the only guy on the Barons lineup tonight that isn't wearing batting gloves. We see a decent amount of guys on the Riptide lineup choosing to go without them, as that's a chopper off of his leg. Foul.
And, next time we have an opportunity to talk with these players, I think that's a question we should ask. I don't know if you've had the opportunity to do so already.
We talked to Colton Freeman about it, and he just said he'd like to go old school.
Does he not use batting gloves?
No, remember he uses the taped up hands.
Yeah, the taped up hands.
Grounder towards second. Griggs is there and throws it over to first to end the inning. Dalton Wood puts a blank up on the board. The score remains 14-6. pitching change to start the bottom of the 7th inning for the Barons. Ty Collins from Glendale Community College coming in relief of Amari Paula. Leading things off for the Riptide will be Jack Thomas Wold. Here's the first pitch to Wold, way outside. That was a bit of a wild pitch. 1-0. This is the 3rd appearance of the season for Collins. He is 2-0 in his 5.1 innings pitched, giving up 4 hits, 3 runs, and struck out 8 batters.
And all Orange County needs here is a 9-run spot on the board. That's not too difficult to do, Chaz.
That pitch in the dirt, so a tough start for Collins out on the mound. 2 pitches that were just nowhere near where they needed to be.
I was being sarcastic. It is tough to do 9 runs, but hey, you know.
I just kind of ignored it and chuckled it off.
We got to get started somewhere. It looks like some of the Barons players have made their way to the concourse.
Big swing and a miss from Thomas Wold. Jack Thomas Wold, excuse me. Sometimes these hyphen names get me tripping a little bit.
They get you nervous, like your Tinder dates.
I actually don't have Tinder, but let's focus on baseball. 2-1 in the dirt, 3-1. Tonight, Jack Thomas Wold is 1 for 2 with a single. Also had an RBI back in the 3rd. Check swing went around, 3-2. So Wold's able to work yet another 3-2 count. Seems like he really does a good job of working the pitch count. So that pitch is outside, and he's aboard with the leadoff walk. Back-to-back walks now for Wold.
And that's such a nice quality to have from, you know, your power hitter in the lineup, at least your main power hitter, Jack Thomas Wold. The ability to recognize those pitches that he wants to handle. And I think that just combines very well. Having that kind of baseball IQ with that natural talent that Jack Thomas Wold, it translates very well on the diamond.
So this brings up Emilio Rosas. Tough night for Emilio. 0 for 3, grounded out into 2 double plays. But coming into the season, he was swinging the bat, or coming into tonight, he was swinging the bat really well. Here's the 1-0 from Collins. On the outside corner, 1-1. Rosas went to Mater Dei. Collins, the pitcher, out on the mound, went to St. John Bosco, so 2 Trinity League rivals going at it here. Little high school rivalry they might have.
Yeah, perhaps. A lot of these players actually know each other.
Here's the 1-1 way inside, 2-1.
Which makes it that much more fun, you know, to compete in a league with guys you know. There's always that, you know, friendly, competitive nature. And all around, these guys just enjoy playing the game of baseball and being around each other.
Yeah, we talked about the 3rd baseman for the Barons, Alec Gonzalez, teammates with 2 of the guys in the starting lineup for the Riptide. So that pitch is in the dirt, 3-1.
And here's another good opportunity for the Orange County Riptide to string something together. Once again, they have that leadoff runner aboard.
Jack Thomas Wold reached base safely via the walk. Rosas now looking at a 3-1 count. He fouls that pitch off behind the plate, into the netting, 3-2. I'm just waiting for the day that we get one that somehow finds its way over the netting and into the booth.
I'm behind the window, so I'm good. You can wait any day
So
of the
I'm getting on
week.
SportsCenter with that catch, you know?
We've got to remember that Allie, our public address announcer, is the catcher, so you are in pretty good hands, Chaz.
Here's the 3-2 foul tip into the glove of Chase Call. Out number 1. That brings up T.C. Simmons. Simmons also having a tough night, 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts. Still only 1 out. Jack Thomas Wold, the runner on first. The Riptide trail 14-6.
Yeah, 20 runs already in this ball game, and that's accompanied by 26 base hits.
Check swing. He did not go around, 1-0.
And I don't know about you, Chaz, but that was not the scoreboard I was expecting to see heading into the bottom of the seventh inning. One, not seeing the Riptide down in the score, but, I mean, look at that number. 20 runs, that's a ton.
Especially given the way that the team has pitched as of late. Seeing them give up 17 hits and 14 runs is just not something we've been accustomed to, because over the last, 5-6 games, they've been superb on the mound.
Yeah, the starting pitching for the Orange County Riptide has been excellent. They've been leading the way in their efforts to go ahead and look for that third spot in the standings and ultimately towards the playoffs.
And they've been excellent since the last outing for Mike Ashley, who went 3 innings and didn't give up a run.
And Chaz, I think now's a good time to go ahead and talk about that game yesterday between the Orange County Riptide and the the San Luis Obispo Blues. The Orange County Riptide were leading heading into the bottom of the ninth inning, and then the Blues came off and they had a walk-off hit. That was a tough game for the Riptide. I mean, making that trip down to Slow, perhaps 6 hours. You have to get off the bus and immediately get ready to play a baseball game.
I know when Colton Freeman was up here, he talked about that being a really tough thing about here is T.C. Simmons is now looking at a 3-1 count. Is the bus rides and then having to play so immediately after getting off the bus.
Yeah, it's tough. It's a tough thing to do, especially when you have to play, a competitive baseball game. The San Luis Obispo Blues are a talented team that's looking to go ahead and make their way towards the top of the division.
T.C. Simmons gets his walk. That's the second walk of the inning now for the Riptide. They got runners on first and second for Spencer Servin. Servin 1 for 2
Now batting for the
with a
Riptide,
double and a walk.
Texas Rio Grande Valley, designated hitter number 47, Spencer Servin.
Spencer Servin, playing in DH, also plays in the outfield for the Riptide. First pitch to him is outside. And for Ty Collins, it seems like he's having to rely on that fastball a lot right now because he hasn't been able to quite get that secondary 12-6 breaking ball under control.
Yeah, and especially in this kind of a game where you're up on the scoreboard by 8 runs, all you're trying to do is put the ball in play. You do not have to be perfect. You do not have to be too pretty. You have the freedom to be aggressive with your decisions. So I think it's smart for him to rely on that fastball.
He does feature a very good fastball, though. Looking at his perfect game, his fastball average is around 92 miles an hour. Here's the 2-0. Fastball on the outside corner, 2-1.
It looks like that outside fastball has been, or at least that call has now been more inconsistent than before. Looks like that's being called for a strike now.
The 2-1 is swung on and missed. Spencer Servin just beaten with the heater there.
Yeah, same location as the last pitch. Servin buckled up, got ready to swing, came up empty. Now he has to shorten up and put the ball in play.
The 2-2 pitch is outside, full count.
I think if the Riptide are able to put up a 3-spot here and get us to 14-9, then
maybe they have a shot. We saw them put up 5 runs to tie the game back against the Oaks a few days ago.
Yeah, if we can head to the bottom of the ninth inning, down by 3 runs or less, we have a shot. At least I think so.
Here's the 3-2. Into the gap between third and short. Nice piece of hitting there from Spencer Servin with 2 strikes. That's his second hit of the ball game. And the bases are loaded with 1 out now for Tank Espalin. And they have to take advantage of this.
Yeah,
if they don't, the game's probably over.
Yeah, once again, Chaz, the bases are loaded for the Orange County Riptide. And what they need to worry about doing here is just playing it station to station and keep the line moving. Oftentimes, I know we're waiting for that big hit, the grand slam, which right now wouldn't be too bad because it would put the score at 10-14.
That pitch is on the inside corner, 0-1.
But having runners on base works towards your advantage because it applies extra pressure to the pitcher on the mound.
Tank Espalin walked in his previous 2 at-bats. That pitch is low, 1-1. So he's been showing off some really good discipline here tonight.
Yeah, and if you're the Orange County Riptide as well, you want to be selective in the pitches you're going to swing at. Unless it's 2 strikes, then of course you're going to swing at anything inside of the strike zone. But if you have some room to play with, if you see a ball that's within the zone, but more than likely will end up in a ground ball, go ahead and avoid it, Look for that solid pitch that'll give you an opportunity to hit it on a line.
Still only 1 out with the bases loaded. That pitch just outside, 2-1.
And we also have to understand that a walk here is just as good as a base hit. Keeps the line moving. Keeps the pressure on the pitcher.
3 straight balls, 3-1.
Well, I'm taking Spallin. I'm taking all the way here until I get a second strike.
We've seen Tank walk in his previous 2 at-bats. Here's the 3-1. In the dirt, ball 4, and that'll walk home a run. The Riptide now trail only by 7. Bases still loaded.
We saw this happen before. 7 runs was their deficit. Last game against the Arroyo Seco Saints, they're making some noise once again, and they are not done yet. The bases are loaded with only 1 out.
Complete team infield visit for the Barons. So I wonder if they're going to try and do something here. Charlie Taylor will bat next. He had an RBI single, drove in the only run of the 7th inning in his previous at-bat. So this is definitely one of the guys that you'd want at the plate because he's been swinging the bat really well.
Yeah, Charlie Taylor has put together some quality at-bats for the Orange County Riptide. He has really good discipline, and he's been swinging at pitches that are within the strike zone.
Looks like the team is back out, and we're ready to play ball. T.C. Simmons over on third base reached on a walk. Spencer Servin on second reached on a single. And Tankus Spallin reached on a walk. He's over at first. Taylor looks at a called strike fastball on the outside corner, 0-1.
As you mentioned, Chaz, Taylor's been doing quite well at the plate for the Orange County Riptide, and I cannot think of too many names other than his that you would like to have in this situation.
Here's the 0-1 to Taylor. In the dirt, 1-1. Charlie Taylor, also a patient hitter. He's already walked 4 times this season. That pitch runs way inside, 2-1.
Looks like it may have hit the knob of the bat, so that's strike 2.
That's a tough one for Charlie out there. 1-2 count now. I couldn't tell if that had hit the glove or the knob. Taylor did it as 2-out singles. That pitch runs way inside once again, 2-2.
Good take there by Charlie Taylor, and you said, he's a disciplined hitter. He has yet to take the bat off his shoulders here.
We saw him have a 2-out single in his last at-bat. And there's another single into center field, RBI. Spencer Servin rounding third, sprinting home, and he will score standing up. So a 2-run RBI single for Charlie Taylor. That's 2 straight for him.
And don't look now, Chaz, but look at the scoreboard, 14-9.
You said 5 runs. If they could get this deficit down to 5, they got a shot. They still have 7 outs remaining. They have 8 outs because there's only 1 out.
And given the way that things have gone so far for the Orange County Riptide offensively, they get runners on base. So a 5-run deficit with 6 outs to play with, very manageable.
Tyler Griggs, the 9-hole hitter, now up with 2 runners on and 1 out. Looks at a ball. Griggs tonight is 1 for 3. He singled and scored a run back in the 3rd inning.
And no movement in the bullpen yet for the Barons, so if the Riptide feel like they can get to this pitcher, now's the time to do it.
Ty Collins showing a bit of lackluster control here. He's now behind 2-0.
And this is something I really like to see here from the Orange County Riptide. They're taking pitches. They're working the count.
Something the Barons took advantage of. Both runners go, and both runners will be
that
safe.
was
So a
such
double
a good
steal.
play.
Great call there from Mitch Levere. And now the Riptide have 2 runners in scoring position with only 1 out.
Such a good decision there by Mitch Levere. He noticed that the pitcher on the mound was paying no attention to the runner on second or first.
Griggs looks at a called strike, 3-1. And he was probably taking that all the way, given the lack of command.
Yeah, for sure. And I would even take here with 3 balls and 1 strike. Look at you have on deck. That's Kyle Booker. With the bases loaded, the possibilities are endless.
Griggs swings and misses at a fastball. Full count.
Now if you're Tyler Griggs, you want to cut down on the swing, and you want to make sure that you're not cow chasing here.
Cow chasing, that's a new term. Here's the full count pitch. Inside to load the bases. And that brings up, as you mentioned, Kyle Booker. Lots of cheers around the stadium for Booker. They know the quality of player who's at the plate.
Now batting for the Riptide from the University of
And Chaz, there's just something about the name Booker. Booker T.
Booker.
Who else?
D-Book.
Exactly.
Suns in
Devin
4.
Booker.
Suns in
Kyle
4.
Booker. It's the year of the Bookers.
Here's the first pitch to Booker. Fastball catches the outside corner. 0-1. Not to mention the guy on deck has got himself 3 hits today, too. Austin Krisick. Oh. And that will advance both players. That is the second time that we've seen that. 1 run will score, and the Riptide are right back in this ball game, 14-10.
Don't look now, Chaz. Look at that deficit. 4 runs.
That's the second time we've seen a balk in this game. I don't even remember the last time I saw one before that.
Hey, this is just great baseball. We were down 14-3. Now it's 14-10. This team has tremendous heart.
That pitch catches the outside corner, 0-2. 7 runs in the last 2 innings. They got a chance for more with 2 runners in scoring position and only 1 out. Kyle Booker at the plate, facing Ty Collins from Glendale Community College. Able to stay alive. Count will remain 0-2.
Huge opportunity for Kyle Booker to capitalize and bring the Riptide just within 2 runs. And luckily for Orange County, Booker is accustomed to hitting in these pressure-driven situations.
Here's the 0-2 to Booker. Check swing outside. He did not go around. 1-2.
Finally, the Barons have an arm getting loose and warm in the bullpen.
That pitch is in the dirt. Good block there from Chase Call. Charlie Taylor was ready to bolt home over on third. Looked like it may have hit Call in an uncomfortable position. He just needs a second.
And the Riptide dugout coming to life. You see everyone standing up along the railings, looking over, providing some support for their hitter at the plate.
And we've seen a change in body language just by the Riptide players. I mean, a couple innings ago, it was all down. Now it's like, okay, we got some momentum. Let's try and win this ball game. Here's the 2-2. Base hit into right. Charlie Taylor will score. Kyle Booker once again going the other way for an RBI single.
And I like the call there by Mitch Levere to hold the runner on third base. I know some of the fans here are unhappy about that decision, but I think, each one of those base runners represent a very precious opportunity to draw in closer. So you have the middle of the lineup and you have Austin Krisick due up. There's no reason to take that risk. And one swing of the bat, we're all tied up.
Austin Krisick already has 3 hits today. 2 of them have been doubles. Runners on the corners with only 1 out. Krisick, first swing. Swing and a drive, deep center field. It is not going to clear the fences, but Tyler Griggs will tag and score. This stadium, and I was about to erupt here.
And we cannot blame Chaz on that one. I'm the one who got him really excited. I was over here tapping on his shoulder.
That was close. He was almost to the warning track.
Austin Krisick just got a tad bit underneath of that one. And Chaz, we talk about it so much. Baseball is a game of inches. If he was able to score that ball up just a tiny bit more.
One. Jack Thomas Wold's got some pop in his bat. Oh, that ball gets beyond the first baseman. Kyle Booker taking off for second, and he will be there at second base. All the momentum with the Orange County Riptide now, Jonathan. And they got a slugger at the plate, and he's got a chance to bring home a speedy guy in Kyle Booker, who we've already seen steal a couple bases tonight. He's on second base with 2 outs.
And the Riptide are still down by 2 runs, but at this point in the ballgame, you would not go ahead and notice that just because, as you mentioned, Chaz, the momentum is all towards the Riptide way.
9 runs in the last 2 innings, 6 here in the bottom of the 7th. Check swing, called strike, 0-1.
And I love this matchup here for Jack Thomas Wold. Lefty on righty. We know the kind of power that Wold has from the left side.
Collins also throws gas.
Yeah, if he finds a fastball that he can handle, you can say bye to that one in 3 different languages.
Here's the 0-1. That's going to be called ball. 1-1. That one just seemed to be just a little bit low.
Wouldn't be surprised if Kyle Booker decides to take third base here.
Still 2 outs, Booker. Big lead over at second base. Jack Thomas steps out of the batter's box, and they're going to call him safe once again. That's the 3rd balk, and the Barons manager is not pleased. I don't know if this umpire is just balk heavy or like trigger happy on the box or what.
I think Kyle Booker is doing the job on the base paths.
We saw him with the big lead. The pitcher took a quick look back at him, but he was already starting his motion. The Riptide